Welcome back, everybody, to another episode here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel. I am your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Sorry about the wait, but we got a really great show, man, with one of my favorite YouTubers. He's pretty funny. He's a very, I would call him somewhat controversial, but he speaks his mind on his issues. He's no stranger to this channel. That is the Mike Nificent YouTube channel. I made a video the other day that he has some questions about. And the title of today's video is Democrats are using reparations to get the black vote. Go subscribe to Mike Nificent's channel. I've seen him blow up on YouTube. Remember when I first reached out to him, he had like 700. Now he has 38,000. I'm guessing he's going to pass me up by the end of the year. But you know he still won't be as nice as me though. But what's another story, man? So welcome Mike Nificent, guys, to the YouTube channel. Very talented YouTuber. Check him out. Almost 40,000 strong. Mike, what's up?
What's good, man? Appreciate you having me back on the channel, man. I love it. I've been on for probably about, I think, almost close to a year, man. I need to come on here more regular, but I'm grateful to be here. You know, I love to come in and pluck some of your subscribers away. I know there's some haters over here too that don't like me, but that's cool. They still tune in, and that's all I can ask for, man. And I appreciate you bringing together like all of Black YouTube. You know, we all differ, we all vary on the spectrum, but we can all agree on certain things. And when we disagree, we come together and talk about it, and that's cool too. And you kind of facilitate all that. And you know, when I come on your channel, I feel like I get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I appreciate that because, you know, you're respectful, even though you disagree and all that.
Right.
And yeah, man, I'm happy to be here.
Everybody except ABL gets some respect over here on the channel. So Mike, let me ask you this, because I've seen your growth on YouTube from when you had like 600. I mean, this guy's gonna be pretty good. Now you're at 38,000. You've been several places outside of YouTube to speak or visit things. I know you went to one of the foreign Black conservatives that went to the White House. What got you making videos on YouTube?
Man, I was seeing a lot of stuff going on after the election in 2016, and I found myself watching a lot of YouTube videos. Like ABL was the first Black conservative that I found, and I found like, man, I'm starting to agree with a lot of the stuff that I was hearing. And then at some point I felt like I needed to engage in what was going on, like use my voice in the discussion, because it's one thing to think about it. And, you know, I started tweeting and it was always on my mind. And I just felt like, man, I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna just make a video and let's see what happens. If it sucks, I'll find out right away. If it's good, it'll catch fire and blow up. And that's pretty much what happened. I really just kind of rolled with it from the beginning. And here I am, like, what, year and a half later. And I've had some ups and downs. It has not all been good, but a lot of it has been good. You know, it's been a lot of ups and downs, especially with, you know, losing subscribers. You know how YouTube is demonetizing and deranking videos, deplatforming. It just seems like what's going on in the country, not just in the Black community, in the country, in the world, it's just craziness. So we need more people, I guess, speaking out against what I call the left. You know what's going on over there, all the crazy shit they're doing over there. I need to speak out on it.
Man, sorry, I got a little bit of allergies. God damn. So
and that's that white supremacy, man.
Yeah, man.
Again.
They hold me back, brother. Let me turn my camera on real quick. But let me ask you a question, Mike. There was a video that I did the other day. I received some interesting boxing messages, invites from you to come to Gold's Gym. And no, I'm just joking. But there was a video that I did. Maybe you felt that I was talking to you or about a certain situation. Actually, you said you made some videos about the reparations debate. I did not see yours. I saw Jericho Green's. I saw ABL's. But I didn't see yours. But what about that video that I made that you found some issue with?
Well, it wasn't an issue per se. I didn't think you were talking specifically about me, but it sounded like you were talking about a specific type of conservative YouTuber, Black conservative YouTubers, because I think you even said it, like plural YouTubers that talk this way. And I felt like, well, maybe he's talking about me. I think actually the title of that video was like the 5 different types of people who are against reparations. Six different people that are against reparations or whatever. And I was like, okay, I mean, I'm not against reparations per se, but I'm like, I don't know if that's a long-term solution for the black community. So I'm like, let me listen to the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to a point in the video where you said something about black conservatives that are just trying to grow their audience, their non-black audience, their white
Mm-hmm.
audience to that degree. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wait a minute, okay. I obviously know a lot of my audience because I talk mainstream politics. I'm not just talking about black issues. I
Right,
know
right.
that's going to be majority. We're in a majority white country.
Yes,
So, I
yes.
mean, the same way a rapper has majority white fans, I figure I'm going to have majority white audience. So I'm like, okay, he's probably talking about me. But
Mm-hmm.
after we talked, you've confirmed you're talking about somebody else. We won't say the name out of
Yes, yes,
respect.
yes.
But I took notes on it because I wanted to ask you directly. I'm like,
Sure.
how do you know
Mm-hmm.
what the makeup is of someone's audience? And then also,
Mm-hmm.
why would you assume that what somebody is saying
Mm-hmm.
is so they can appease that audience? Because I know for me specifically, when I started my YouTube channel, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have a white audience, I'm going to have a black. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm just going to speak something out into the world. And then if people agree, they agree, regardless of race, gender, any of those divisive uh, identities, right? Like, I've been on your channel before and I've told you where I stand as far as this human existence. We're shells, right? Skin color doesn't matter when we go beyond this realm. So it doesn't matter if somebody's black or white. It's, do they share your beliefs? Do they have the same goals as you?
Uh-huh.
Because not everybody that looks black is for me, and not everybody that looks white is against me.
Okay.
Right? That's just the facts. That's not even just my opinion. That's the facts. So
Mm-hmm.
why would it matter if somebody has a majority white YouTube audience or
Uh-huh.
majority black or whatever? And
Mm-hmm.
how do you know what the makeup of their audience is?
It's a good question. So the question is, I don't know what the I don't look at the YouTube analytics, and I don't think YouTube analytics breaks it down by race. I think what is a good indicator is to look at who's commenting. I mean, obviously that cannot be true too, but that's just a good guess. But I believe that was the number 4 reason. And 5 of those reasons comes from LAR, and LAR says the people who are against reparations are the people who are most likely getting paid to be against it or have some incentive to be against it. And so when you look at most black conservatives that are on YouTube or on wherever, they have their audience, which is many times anti-reparations based. And it's not that they talk about it specifically, that's the only thing. But during such situations, they're typically the ones that have a paying audience that is also against it, which could be a motive. Like I can't prove the analytic, but I can say that's a motivation as to why they would do that. But I can't prove it based off of what I will see on the comments. But if you listen to some of the white conservatives that have talking points against reparations, it's not hard to find that you will see some of these black conservatives, because you have some black conservatives that are for reparations, like myself. But that's how I would gauge it. It's just like a crime scene. Who would benefit most from this murder? And who would benefit most from these talking points? That's the only way I would be able to suggest it.
Interesting. Yeah, because I wouldn't necessarily say that someone might have a motivation to like, oh, this is a good opportunity to show my conservative audience that I stand against reparations, just because it's a principle thing. Like conservatives would be against reparations the way they would be against the welfare system, free healthcare and all that stuff. It's kind of on the same lines. It is essentially a government handout. And that could be debated whether it should be owed or whatever. I'm not talking that. I'm just talking in terms of raising taxes for the benefit of whatever, So I think conservatives would have that if they're principled conservatives and they don't have motives. And we can debate if people are on TV, some of the black conservatives that are more mainstream on TV, if they're doing it for a paycheck. But somebody that's getting interviewed like on the streets, I've seen some man on the street videos where they're asking black people what they think about reparations, and they have the same line of thinking as a black conservative would in terms of, slavery ended 150 years ago and, all that stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily come to that conclusion. And I forget the guy's name you said who came up with this. Who
LAR movement. He came up with the
LAR.
first 5
Okay.
reasons. I came up with the
Okay.
6th one. And I'm about to
And I
come
mean,
up with a 7th one because ABL is in the chat. He about to get this work again. So you better tell
oh
him
man,
to get it
that's
ass.
my brother.
He
We
about
come
to
from
get this work. I like him too, but he about to get cussed out on the stream. Go ahead,
We
brother.
come from the same cloth. Don't let him
Don't
intimidate you,
say that.
ABL.
ABL, he comes from that cornball cloth. You don't want to come from there. You don't want to be a cornball.
Man, don't have my brother get on here, man.
He ain't gonna do shit.
He be bodying people on this show, man. I seen it.
Man,
I seen it in
work.
live action, man. But you know what? Now that we're on the topic of the last time I was on the show, now my memory's jogged.
Okay.
So the last time that I was on this show, I think we were actually talking reparations and some other stuff, and it got a little heated. Not like you and me was about to come to blows through the internet, but we were in a deep discussion, and you got a super chat by, I think his name's Man of Tomorrow, and I hope the dude is watching because he said this. He was just pissed off. He got in his feelings. He's like, man, this dude, this is the kind of black people I don't like. He might have said niggas or something. I don't know. He pretty much was going off on me, and he said my days were numbered. I'm like, but then out of the other side of his mouth, he'd be like, my white supremacy. The white man's keeping us down. I'm like, but you saying all this crazy stuff, and it's like, how do we have this crazy mental gymnastics where on one side we are like, man, white people keeping us down, it's the white man policing and all that, but the most dangerous person to a black person is another black person. That's not my opinion. That is a fact. That is statistics. It's real. So like those kind of people actually make me mad because they can't stand black people who disagree with them. And it seems like, and I've heard you guys talk about this on your show before, like, could the black community come together and create like an ethno state? And I thought about that. I'm like, if it did, it would have to be like a communist dictatorship.
Yes, I agree.
People like me and ABL and dissenters, we'd be in the gulag because you got some black people that are just, they lead with emotion. The guy on your reparations, that 3-hour live stream, I listened to that whole thing, by the way. That guy on there, I don't know what his name was, maybe Taz or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was just angry. He's like, he could not stand the idea that someone disagrees with him. And it's like, this isn't just unique to the black community. I say it's amplified in the black community, but the world is like this. The world is authoritarian. It's like, you need to agree with me or I'm going to destroy you. I will destroy you because I can't handle the idea of someone who disagrees with me.
Okay.
And that happens so much in the black community. And you see it with guys like that just couldn't control his emotions. And then they devolve into like ad hominem attacks and threats and violence. And that's how I think the black community, we get into trouble that way because we lead with emotion, not logic and facts and thoughts, whether it's right or wrong. But I think it gets us into trouble. And I think that's why we have these situations with black on black crime, because we're so emotional and we need to be able to rise above that and be intellectual. It's like, you know what? It's okay that somebody disagrees with me because I'm not God. I don't have all the answers. I feel like everybody thinks they're right. Every single person that I've heard talk about reparations has got, here are the 5 reasons. Here are the 5 black people that don't agree with reparations. I'm like, why? Because you said so? Because you said so? Oh, you're the right guy. Okay. So we need to prop you up, put you on a pedestal because you got all the answers. You should be at the helm and everybody else should bend the knee and submit to your beliefs.
You disagree with those 6 types? You don't think those 6 types are relevant in those descriptions?
No, I'm not talking about the 6 types or something. It's just when people put stuff out there like that. And then if someone's like, well, I don't know about that or something, then it gets into this like weird, well, you disagree. So you're a coon. You're a sellout. You're an Uncle Tom. I'm like, okay, so any black person that doesn't toe the line and agree, and they're not in lockstep with your beliefs, they get called all these names. And we're the only community that dehumanizes and attacks the other side, like as if black people should be a monolith. There are some black people who think like the black people.
There's white people that do this. There are other groups that do the same thing.
It's not based on race, though. It's not based on race. In other communities, it's understood that there are white liberals, there are white conservatives, but only in the black community where it's like black conservatives get treated like trash, like Uncle
Why do you
Tom's.
think they do?
Why do I think they do? I
Yes.
don't honestly, that's probably a whole nother discussion. But where I think it starts is we are just really emotional and angry, and we've been whipped into a monolith. And I think this is a good segue into reparations because
Okay.
I think it ties into the party that owned slaves, as you know, and the party that still owns slaves, mental slaves on the thought plantation. That's what I mean, is they've created this hive mind of black people. They use these words, white supremacy, racism, white privilege, white power. They use those words, blasted out through the television, blasted out over social media. They use the real sellouts in the black community, which are celebrities, entertainers, athletes that keep us on the thought plantation, don't want us speaking out, thinking differently, call us coons, sellouts, Uncle Toms. They look what they did to Kanye, raked him over the coals because he had a different opinion. They're basically saying to the world, black people can't think like this. They need to think like that. So they're playing gatekeepers. And so I think that's why black conservatives get hated so much, because it starts with the racist Democrat Party. It's literally all about racism. That's the only thing that matters. Like, your skin color is central to your identity, which I fundamentally disagree with for spiritual reasons, like I already said. So I think the black community has been controlled through that. You know, when they use racism and all that stuff and police brutality, like some of the 3 words, officer involved shooting, black suspect killed, that will whip up emotion. And then that emotion can then be turned into action. Like, yeah, you're outraged. Go take to the streets, destroy your community, flip cars, throw rocks at the police. Let's get more blacks incarcerated because they're outraged over a black man that got shot. I'm talking about Memphis a few weeks ago and all the other scenarios, but most recently that one. So does that make sense where I'm coming from?
Yeah,
the black community
I agree that
put into a hive mind.
Yeah, that is true to a certain degree. I wouldn't disagree with that, but let me do this and get to the reparations thing. I don't want to change the subject too much from the initial comment. I understand your gripes, but I want to ask you specifically: do you feel that black African Americans, which you are, me and you, we are the same people? Okay, so we're united in the fact that we are both not Nigerian, we're not Asian, we have almost the same story lineage, just different parts of America. Are we owed reparations for what happened to our ancestors?
For me, I would say the short answer is yes, but and you knew the but was coming, right?
I thought but let's hear the but.
Because the thing is, I couldn't just say flat out no, because that would be me denying the historical like what happened. Like, I'm not going to deny that happened, but here's why I say but. I'm saying but it's not going to happen. It's just not. Okay. And the reason why is, if it were to happen, practically happen, I think it would have need to happen after slavery ended. Now, we can't time travel back, but the reason why I think it's not going to happen now is not because I don't want it to happen or because I believe that. It's just a fact. It's not going to happen. The only reason we're having this conversation right now is because we're downstream from the media who brought it up. They guide the national discussion. People weren't talking about reparations until they were told to talk about reparations, until it brought up and it's in circulation, right? That's all we do is talk about what we hear on the news and what we hear people talking about on Twitter. So who's deciding when to bring this up and why? You get what I'm saying? It's all upstream from this. It's a talking point right now because we're near an election cycle, right? You notice the Democrat debates a couple nights ago. Not a single candidate mentioned reparations. They only mention it when it's expedient to their political agenda. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. In fact, not only are they not going to pay out reparations, they've already vaulted illegal aliens above the black community. But then you got all these black liberals out here that will pound the table for open borders and healthcare as a human right. They repeat the same bullshit Bernie Sanders talking points.
Okay.
But then they want to come at black conservatives like, oh, you're tap dancing for the white man on the conservative plantation and all that nonsense. They're not thinking through what they're saying and what they're actually doing. They're advocating for their own demise, leading the sheep to the slaughter. How does illegal immigration and illegal immigrants getting free health care benefit the black community? Because you think, oh, we shall overcome the white man. We'll be locked arms with all our brothers and sisters from different races. If you're truly pro-black, you would want some other solution for the black community. So reparations, I'm just looking at it practically, right? I'm looking at it realistically and practically. Politicians care about their own self-interest. This is not going to happen. And obviously there's the whole separate conversation, which we probably don't need to have, like who pays, who gets what? Does Oprah get reparations? What about Danny Glover? It's just, I'm looking at it as, okay, let's play the long game here. What can we do to improve the community ourselves while we wait for reparations to get paid out? Let's assume that we're all on board. Like, yes, reparations, let's get it done. Let's have Maxine Waters and all these poverty pimps in Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus that care so much about us. They care about the black community, but they're the ones taking home the fat paychecks. Let's have all the people in power get together and figure out reparations. But while we're waiting on them to do that, what can we do to fix it in the short term? What can we do to improve the community and focus on trying to build a better black community going forward?
Let me ask you.
And I got some ideas on that too.
Okay, we'll talk about those ideas, but let me ask you this. You say yes, but it should have happened at the end of slavery and not now. So why don't you think that we are not going to get it?
Why do I think we're not going to get it?
Yes.
Well, for the reasons I just mentioned, is because you are assuming that the federal government is going to do something for you. And I don't mean you, obviously. I'm talking to anybody that actually thinks that reparations is going to get paid out in their lifetime. I mean, you have to be realistic. They're advocating for free health care for illegal aliens. You mean to tell me they're going to fit reparations in on top of that? Like, let's look at this practically. Where is the money going to come from? This is why I focus on the broader aspect of politics. I can't just be micro focused. I got to be macro focused on politics, okay? Because it affects everybody. You think illegal immigration? I know, so I've seen blacks on Twitter be like, yeah, illegal immigration, they're just racist and all that stuff. That, you know, there's no such thing as an illegal person, whatever. It's because they think that illegal immigration is going to destabilize white people. For some reason, they think it's not going to hit them. Like if an asteroid hit Earth, oh, that's just going to hit white people. No, it's going to affect you too. So everybody should be like, okay, these same Democrats that talking about reparations are going to pay for healthcare for illegal aliens, and they're talking about free college education for illegal aliens. Where does reparations fit in on that? Why didn't a single presidential candidate bring it up the other night if they were serious about it? If they were serious about it, why wasn't it talked about in 2008? And if it was, why wasn't it passed when Obama and the Democrats had a super majority? The White House, the Senate, and the House. Why wasn't that advanced then? Why are we supposed to believe it now? Especially while we're saying white people are racist. White people are racist. They're suppressing us, blah, blah, blah. But white people are also going to pay us reparations, and we really believe that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just being realistic about it. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, but it's not going to happen. And we know it's not going to happen. Okay. If it does happen, maybe it'll be my grandchildren or my grandchildren's grandchildren, but will they get more money because I didn't see the benefits? Okay. And see, then you start going down the rabbit hole of it's just too convoluted, O'Shea, and you know it. Well, I don't know how anybody can deny it, even if they disagree with me. I'm just stating facts and truth. And it's,
let me ask you this, Mike. You are a conservative YouTuber, one of the ones that is burgeoning. You're much better than that ABL guy, by the way. He's whoever that guy. He's terrible. I just can't, his bald head, man. He really just, I don't know. I think of like
he wears a hat, man. He covers it up. He covers it up.
Yeah, he needs to get a Jerry curl or something. But let me talk about this. I think you, some of the other guys, you, the politics are very strong in general. You just speak of American politics, but I would assume that you would say that black people need to stop voting for the left or for Democrats. But somebody in the chat makes a very interesting point. Republicans are definitely not going to pay it either. Now, with that being said, you always hear from certain whites, which I don't think there's necessarily anything so well. It is something wrong with it because a lot of conservatives will tell black people you need to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, but there's evidence that other groups have been given land. Europeans. We were allied with Israel during the time of the war. We had to pay some sort of money to help them get started. There are other groups that have been paid reparations to repair them, like the Japan and things like that. But when it comes to African Americans who fought in every war, we have not been, old. We pay for a lot of the things that we helped contribute. A lot of the inventions that we made were stolen. We had land and wealth that was stolen from us and stuff like that. So why would the blacks, because you keep saying that Democrats are using reparations to get the black vote. What are Republicans doing? Are conservatives doing to get the black vote?
Well, let me first address the Democrat. Black people need to stop voting Democrat. I think black people need to make politicians earn their vote.
Okay.
Whether that's Democrat or Republican.
Okay.
I feel like people are going to show up to the booth and vote blue no matter who. All they know is that they're voting Democrat. They literally won't watch the debates. They don't care what the policy positions are. All they know is they hate Donald Trump. So the next election is about voting against Trump, not voting for Joe Biden or for Kamala Harris or whoever. It's about voting against Trump.
Wait, Mike. Are you sure about that? Because if that's the case, then why is Donald Trump gaining so much more support than the black community than ever? His ratings with African Americans is actually like almost doubled, or it has increased, especially with black men.
Oh, definitely. There's no
black
doubt
people
about
are
that,
watching something, right? I mean, because if they're changing their mind, what's the difference?
It's happening. But don't get me wrong, the awakening is happening. It's happening slowly, but I still see a lot of blacks that have not woken up at all. That's what I mean. I'm talking to them. Why
is that, Mike?
Well, I think a lot of it is media brainwashing. I think a lot of it is celebrity brainwashing.
Okay.
Yes, it's some of the historical plights and stuff, but all I'm saying is here we are right now. If you want to live your best life right now, you got to not depend on the government. And I'm talking from a perspective of somebody who has a can-do attitude. I'm motivated. I'm blessed. I'm talented. I got skills. God is ultimately navigating me. So I don't believe in all these, no matter what I do, there's going to be a white person that says, no, you can't do it. And I'm just going to tuck my tail between my legs and go home. Like, well, white people said I can't. So it's like, I believe in God. So how could I believe in God and God lifting me up and God delivering me to my destiny? How could I believe in that? But then also simultaneously believe in white supremacy. Like, well, white people are going to stop me. God gave me this plan, this destiny, but white people are going to stop it because white people are superior. That would be me saying whites are actually superior. I don't believe whites are superior. I will look a white person in the eye and say, you're not superior. Now they can think they're superior. Richard Spencer or whoever, David Duke, they can think that all they want. They're going to pay taxes and die like everybody else. Nobody's making it out of here alive. Don't matter. Doesn't matter. What I'm saying is it's more about the fact that the two-party system has failed everybody. If conservatives and Republicans were for the white people, then white people wouldn't be so mad at what the system has done. It's not even just in the United States. You got to look at the world. I look at global politics. 2 million people took to the streets of Hong Kong because they were afraid of tyranny at their back door. communist China trying to absorb them because they know what true freedom is. Freedom doesn't know skin color.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about not monolithically voting Democrat and just giving them your votes,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean. Make them earn your votes. But in reality, I mean, it's in the Bible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
man wants to be God.
Mm-hmm.
Man is authoritarian, which is why you have all these people that get mad. Like, what? This black dude, he thinks different from me. He's a coon because he doesn't share my opinion. Everybody wants to control others. There's people that want to be left alone and people that don't want to leave them alone. So you got to ask yourself, which person are you? Because there are some people, and it doesn't matter what color they are, they just want to be narcissists. They just want to control others. And that's what you have in a politician. I don't trust politicians. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. I don't claim Republican. I'm registered Republican. I will vote for Republican, but it's because I literally think I'm voting for the lesser of two evils, because all Democrats want to do is grow government. And the bigger the government is, the smaller I am as an individual to make my own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to know what big government looks like, go to a black city. There's not a single black city in America that isn't filled with crime, drugs, poverty, horrible schools, dilapidated homes, vacant lots, just horrible situation. But you have a Democrat running every single one of those cities without failure. Maybe Minneapolis, I think, but that's not really a black city. But the north side of that city, is black. And it's rough. It's just like any other black city. So even if it's run by a Republican, if there's a black neighborhood, it's in shambles. And there's probably a Democrat congressman for that part of the city. So that's my whole thing is snap out of it. People from all walks of life need to push back against the tyrannical forces of government, because it's not going to just oppress blacks. It's going to oppress people. Why would they just oppress blacks when they can oppress everybody beneath them? It's about creating a permanent bottom class. They want a two-class system. And you know how I know that that's true? I'm about to back it up with a clear-cut example of how it doesn't matter what skin color you are, doesn't matter what gender you are, doesn't matter who you sleep with. If you know the right people, if you're in a position of power, you'll be good. Jussie Smollett. People wanted to call that black privilege. I'm like, no, that's not black privilege, because I couldn't get away with that. You couldn't get away with that. He got away with that because he knew other people in power, other people who pull the levers of power, period. You know, if you're black, if you're gay, if you're transgender, Hispanic, whatever, if you are in position of power, then you can oppress others. You can do whatever. You can get away scot-free with murder. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot you can do if you know the right people and you got the right resources. And
let me you say some very interesting things. And guys, I see the super chats. I'll mention those in a minute, but you say some very dynamic things about your God fearing, which is good. And you believe on your own recognizance that you're able to achieve these things and that there's no white man that's holding you back. And then you make another statement subsequently after that, talking about you make some global understandings of the world and your politicals, to prove your vantage point by using Hong Kong. So since we're able to go global in this conversation, I'd like to give you a situation that can transpose what you just said. I've been to Africa. I don't know if you've been to Africa, but just like you in Black America and people in Africa, they are also Christians. And these people believe that God will deliver them and that they are in control of their own destiny. But if you go to Africa, in places where white people have been, in South Africa, in certain places of Latin countries like Brazil, in America, where you have a Black Christian population, there's a commonality between all of these places, especially in Francophone or British Africa. These people are at the bottom of society. Okay, Black Americans, Black Brazilians, Black Dominicans, Black Colombians. All of these people are at the bottom of these societies. Now, I'm a person that I like to be numerically. Um, I'm not enumerate. I like numbers. I had a degree in biology. There is a reason why that even in their own countries, South Africa, which was ran by the Boers, Namibia, there is a reason for why most blacks are failing, even in countries in which they owned, right? When you go back to this idea that I am in control of my life, I would certainly never tell anybody that they're not in control of their life. I would never tell anybody that. But at the same time, there's too much evidence to support that white people always tend to be on top wherever they're at. And others, especially if they're black, have always been at the bottom. Now, you yourself talk about that you can't deny what happened to blacks in America. And we can transpose it to other societies where there was the Portuguese or other Europeans. But there were certain hindrances of the law in certain situations where there was unfair criminality against blacks and whites, even in this country that's been documented. So what I'm saying is this thing called white supremacy, I don't know if you can call it the name or whatever, or unfair treatment, it has existed. It's existed amongst the world. So when blacks are, and again, in my video, I talked about the person who says, I can do well whatever, right? Mike, if I'm not mistaken, you come from a very good family in Colorado. I think your grandfather was like one of the first was he like one of the first businessmen in Colorado?
No,
something like that.
No, they moved to it. They were some of the first blacks in their neighborhood on my dad's side.
Yeah, so your family was, for African Americans at that time, was affluent, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. So, in my 6 reasons for those who are against reparations, I mentioned the affluent class. Those people who had either more higher intelligence than others or did better than other blacks. And we got to understand too, Mike, that not everybody can go to, I think you went to like Colorado State or University of Colorado, whatever. Not everybody has the support structure or system that you may have had that turned you out to be a very functional piece of society. Black African Americans were not brought to America to be a part of the actual program. We were brought here for something else. So I think that people like yourself who do well, sometimes you might forget, like, okay, I'm doing better, but you know what? There are other people who are not doing better, and there could be a reason why they're not doing better. And that's the one problem that I tend to have with a lot of black conservatives is they want to think like, oh, because it's me, then why not we? But everybody has different circumstances. And also, we have to go back to this globalization, since you use that position, that wherever blacks have been and whites have been at the same time, almost certainly blacks have always been at the bottom. Now, the only way we can explain it is 2 things. Either black people are just extremely stupid and dumb, or white people have found out a way to keep black people to a certain degree, to a certain level. It's either one of those 2 arguments.
Well, let me first say,
okay,
I do acknowledge that I think most black conservatives, if they're being honest,
okay, unlike ABL. So
I think ABL knows this. ABL knows this because he's a conservative. Okay,
he's an idiot.
Conservatives understand that there are not equal outcomes. There never have been. There never will be. Okay, we can talk about the race aspect to that separately, but this is why I'm against people like Bernie Sanders that thinks, oh, all we got to do, what's the stupid slogan they say, a rising tide lifts all boats or something. Basically, we can have equality of outcome. I understand that not everybody can go to Colorado State University like I did, or just like I understand that I can't be LeBron James or the next Lil Yachty or whatever rapper, whoever it is making money out there. Everybody's going to have different outcomes. You could separate identical twins at birth, put one in a white family that's rich, that grows up in a suburban gated community, and you could put one in the hood, you're going to have different outcomes, even though they come from the same lineage. You have different outcomes. Why? Because environment matters. Environment has a lot to do with it. Now, historically, other countries, I haven't been to places like South Africa. I understand. I know about apartheid and all that. And it looks like that apartheid is turning over there because now they're pretty much about to genocide white people. But I guess that right's the wrong, right? I'm sure some people think that, which is horrible, but that's a whole nother discussion. Let's right the wrong. Let's oppress whites to make it even. It's so stupid. But anyway, I think that there's going to be unequal outcomes, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay with it because that's human nature. That's not even human nature. That's just nature. Animals outlive one another. There's different outcomes among trees. Some trees don't produce as many apples as others, even though if they're growing in the same field with the same amount of sunlight and water, there's just differences. It just is. People are taller, shorter, fatter. Some people are going to die younger, die older. That's just the way life is. But somewhere along that, man stepped in with his intellect and decided, no, we can change this. We can change the course. We can interject and disrupt the natural order of things. And that's where tyranny comes in. Slavery, tyranny. Communism, tyranny. Socialism, all these things. Tyranny. I'm not denying that. I'm not going to deny that. I see it happening, which is part of the reason why I'm for limiting the government, because somebody oppressing you nowadays is because you vote them in to oppress you. Think about it. People, the politicians, these Democrat politicians, they think that we have rights. Bernie Sanders gets on TV and says, Mike, you have rights because I said so. I'm like, I have rights because I was born. You don't give me rights. Because you give me rights, you can take it away. That's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I could kind of go on in circles on that. You got to keep me on track here, O'Shea, because I could just word vomit all this stuff out because it's all I'm always thinking about this.
Well, you're much better than Anthony Brian Logan for sure. Let me kind of get back to this situation, because it seems like, I'm not gonna say you're insinuating, but I think one can determine, maybe by listening to you, that, well, let me ask you this. Do you think there's a good portion of African Americans that are looking for a handout from the American government?
By the numbers, I mean, I would be lying if I said no black people, not one black person wants a handout.
Well, no.
That would be a lie.
Give me we can't say for sure what the number is, but can you give me a number?
I don't know. I honestly, I haven't thought about it, but there is a percentage of people.
Do you think that's a higher percentage, close to 50 or over 50?
No, I don't think it's that high. I don't think it's that high. I think most people want to do better on their own. You get way more, you get a deeper sense of satisfaction of earning your paycheck as opposed to just getting it, right? If you just get handed something, you take it for granted. We all know this from being a kid. At least I did, and I'm not that privileged, but like, yeah, somebody bought me a pair of shoes before. The pair of shoes that somebody bought me, I didn't treat them as well as the pair of shoes I bought myself with my first paycheck when I got a job or whatever it is I bought. When I buy something, I take better care of it. I get a deeper sense of satisfaction and accomplishment that way. I think most people are like that, but there are some people who are lazy, and I would be dishonest if I denied that fact. Now, also, we need to talk about the role that in present day Black America, I'm not going to let you take this decades back. We're talking about 2019 Black America. So I'm not going to let you push it back. Okay. I know you're going to say,
no. We can stay in the present. That's fine.
But peep this. Okay. You got Black people are a bigger threat to ourselves than anything else. It seems like we always want to project and look outward and never look inward. It is a two-part problem, right? It needs to be a two-pronged approach, but we're never looking at ourselves. We never want to confront the toxic elements of Black culture. Why do we glorify baby mama stuff? Why is that even a thing? Right? You talked about affluent Blacks, bougie Blacks, or whatever. My whole family's, I don't have ghetto people in my family. I'm proud to say that. I don't have family members twerking on police cars and putting it on Instagram. There are Black people who won't call that out. They're just like, oh, that's just us. It's just how we are. Or they'll look the other way. I'm somebody that's going to call it out and say that shit is ghetto. That's not who we are. I disassociate with that. If that's part of Black culture, that's not part of my Black culture, because I don't have any friends like that. No Black friends, no family, nobody who acts like that. But there are elements within the Black culture that have been glorified.
Okay.
And we can talk, you can go back and
we
say,
can talk about that. What percentage of Black people do you think associate with that kind of culture?
What percentage? I don't know. A big enough chunk to where a rapper like a 21 Savage, I don't even keep up with these rappers anymore. But for a rap culture to thrive and promote some of the most toxic and vile, disgusting things that just destroy the community, I think there's a big enough percentage. I can't give you a number just because I haven't thought about what percentage, but it's a big enough number to where it counts. And then, like I said, you have people with megaphones, people with millions of Twitter followers, people always on TV, people with platforms and influence, and they're irresponsible with discussions. They'll come out there like Shaq comes out there like when they thought that little girl, I'm always going to bring it back to this little girl, Jasmine Barnes, who most people forgot her name. Jasmine Barnes in Houston, the little Black girl that got killed in January. And they thought it was a white person that did it. Everybody talked about it. All the news outlets, all the celebrities, the Houston Texans put her face up on the Jumbotron. Shaq wanted to pay for the funeral. Then they found out the killer was Black and everybody forgot about her. That's what I'm talking about in a nutshell. We only really care, and I say we, meaning a lot of people in the Black community. I don't know what percentage, I don't know what number, but there are people in the Black community that care more about Jasmine Barnes when they thought a white person killed her than when a Black person killed her. That drives me up the wall. That makes me crazy. That's the stuff that makes me want to speak out more. That's why I speak out on YouTube more. When I get into Black issues, it's stuff like that. We never want to talk about that. We only want to talk about the Black life. And the guy in Houston, or not Houston, Memphis, a couple weeks ago. We want to go out there and defend him, throw rocks at the police. He shot another Black man 5 times. Do Black lives matter or do they not? That's what I'm saying. We only really get riled up when we think a white person killed him. It's like, and then don't get me started on abortion. Don't even get me started on that. So it's like, on what level do we have responsibility to change? Because here's the thing. You can't control what the federal government does. You can talk reparations for 6 hours with these dudes that were on here. At the end of the day, you have no power to change that unless you're going to run for office. Are you going to become president? Are you going to start campaigning? Or are you just going to talk about it on YouTube? I mean, it's nice to talk about it and ask, concepts and stuff like, well, or someone said, well, what if we got 5 million? Again, you don't have any control over the federal government. You're asking, at the end of the day, you're asking somebody else to do something for you. We need to focus on the controllables. The controllables are what can we do within the community, and even more on an individual level, to be a better person.
Can you say be a better person like what? What's a better person to you?
Well, I mean, I define it for myself. I'm always trying to learn things and gain new perspective. I think you can honestly say from the first time I came on your channel, I think it was Sunday Rumble. The first time I did that, I only had a YouTube channel and a platform for like 2 months. I barely knew what I was talking about. Then I came on again a few months later. Then I came on. So I'm always growing. I'm always learning. I'm always open to the idea that I could be wrong about something. I'm open to have my mind changed. I am open to people disagreeing with me without me attacking them. I'm not going to use ad hominem attacks. I'm not going to make threats. I know there's keyboard warriors in the chat talking shit. I know it.
People are split.
They're split. They always are split. And I appreciate that. That's why I like coming on here. Because even though those people disagree and they probably call me all kind of names, they're still listening. That's all I could really ask. You could call me all the name of the book, say whatever to elevate yourself. You can call me whatever you want to chat. But I know that there's people listening that agree, that will subscribe. And that's all I can really ask for, man. And I think more people need to have that approach. Just be open, be truly progressive. I think it's really progressive to just accept other people as they are and have the way they think. Stop trying to get them to bend the knee to the way you think and try to shame them. Try to be a better person. Look in the mirror, say like, am I a good dad? Am I a good mother? Could I have worked harder on that? Did I have to get angry with that person at work? Should I maybe left a little bit earlier? Should I have done this? You know, look, self-reflect. I mean, I don't feel like I'm saying anything profound or brand new. This just seems like common sense. It really does. Be a better person. But that's just my take. What do you think being a better person means?
I think what you're explaining is any progressive person, which I think American society, that's a part of American culture, just in improving. But I mean, Mike, I just have certain issues with certain not that you're wrong on certain things, because you're saying, oh, and this is a typical Black conservative type of argument. So this is textbook what you're saying. It's not,
but it's from my design. I'm not gonna let you say that like, oh, I'm just.
It is textbook. It's just, it might be out of your design, but it's the same play. I
don't agree with that, man. Because now you're kind of, that's a little condescending. You're kind of basically saying it is though, because you're making it sound like, oh, you're not really thinking for yourself. You just got that from somebody else.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, it's like the West Coast offense. The Philadelphia, used to run it. The Niners used to run it. It's just, it's the same. It's the same. It's one of the same arguments that people hear all the time. Let me say it's very repetitive. So let me talk about
true. This. What offense do you run then? Because if you're saying that, then that means you run some offense too, right?
We all run something. But okay, it's not about it's not about lacking originality to be pejorative. It's just saying that this argument is something that you hear all the time, but there's a little bit more to it. Let's take the Memphis situation. Okay, Black people are out here defending this guy who shot the police. That's what it probably looks like. But really, there have been issues, and typically whenever you see somebody like Mike Brown or one of these guys, listen, these guys are criminals. It's not, not Mike. Now, Mike Brown is a different story, but this guy definitely shot somebody, right? What we're not looking at is what's been going on in these cities that people hate the police for whatever reason that it is. Are there levels of police corruption? Are there levels of police doing certain things? Because there's a reason why African Americans have issues with the police. Okay, there's a reason why Black people feel a certain volatility towards the cops. All right, it's always been like that post-slavery. Okay, so what happens is, or it was the U.S. Marshals. What happens is now, although I don't agree with what they did, there was a reason why those people started throwing stuff at the U.S. Marshals or the police, because you have a history of Blacks having issues with the police. And you just said something that was very interesting. Well, you can't control the system. Well, the system's going to do what it's going to do, or you can't control the government. Well, when people feel that they have no control over the government, what do? They're probably going to throw shit and tear shit up, whether they live there or live somewhere else. This is what happens. So I think what happens is when Black conservatives have these talking points, they don't really show any sensitivity towards the other side of the argument, and it's very unilateral. That's the thing. I think that with me, the offense that I'm run, I'm a conservative, but I'm a little bit more moderate than you guys are. I'm more moderate than ABL. I'm more moderate than Tatum. I try to look at both sides. Okay, so why do we have a situation on the Black side, and why do we have a situation on the white side? Like, these are different situations. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the whole thing on a macroscopic level. And I think what happens with Black conservatives is Black conservatives are not really as sensitive to issues that happen to blacks or have happened to blacks or what is going on with the black community. They really don't. So it's easy to say one side, but it's almost like black people are just out here doing this because of this without justification. They're just doing it because they're crazy or whatever. This is what I take issue with. And I think that we have a lack of sensitivity towards the black community. And I think this is the reason why this is the reason why I think black conservatives get some of the, for example, there's a cause and effect to everything, right? Black conservatives will love to tell people the reason why black people hate us because we're black conservatives. That's why. Well, let's talk about this. You have people who are black conservatives, like the Nation of Islam, or Nations of Gods and Earths, or Hebrew Israelites. They have some of the same talking points that white conservatives have. But there's a reason why black people are more tied to them than, maybe Ben Carson. There's a reason why black people have an issue with black conservatives. It's just not because they're black Donald Trump supporters. There are talking points in key things that blacks hear and listen to and say, okay, this is the reason why. They can express why they don't. If you talk to any black person for a lot of any black person who's against Donald Trump or black conservatives or who doesn't like Brandon Tatum or doesn't like ABO or doesn't like you have black people who can explain in great detail why they don't like you guys' content and why they think you're disingenuous. Now they can explain it from another side of the story. Now, what I try to do is I try to look at both sides of the story and try to basically come to some sort of balance and say, okay, well, where can we go from here? Because I'm not necessarily so leaning towards the pro-black community, although I deal with them. And I'm not necessarily so leaning towards the black conservative. I'm trying to be somewhere in the middle. And I think that's the best place to be.
Well, I already acknowledged that there's a two-pronged approach to improving the quality of life in the black community. And yeah, I do see it from both sides. And like I said before, I'm going to reiterate, power breeds corruption. It's police have power. They are corrupt. Not all police. I'm not going to demonize the police because there's definitely some good cops out there. But you look at like the police chief and the police force and police officers in cities like Baltimore. So is it a race thing if black cops are corrupt too? Is it about race or is it about power and corruption? Can it be both? Because how is it that, you'll have black officers and black mayors? The corruption runs deep. It transcends race.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. There's some racial aspects to it. Like I say a lot on my channel. I say white liberals are the most white supremacists. They're the ones they have. It's almost as if white liberals have.
Well, let me ask you this: white conservatives? They're not.
Well, let me make my point about white liberals.
Go ahead.
It's almost as if they need it to exist. So when they see a black conservative,
I agree.
They'll sell me my own oppression. I get it on Twitter a lot. They'll at me and stuff and say all this stuff. Like, it's pretty much like they're seeing me as a black person. They have expectations of me because I'm black. And I'm not going to say, oh, conservatives aren't the same way. But I'm saying liberals want to control black people.
Yes, they do. They do.
They're oppressive in that way. That's the ideology of the left, is control. We need to control you. We need to make decisions for you. You're too stupid to govern your own affairs. Mm-hmm. So we're going to step in, call ourselves government, take your money and redistribute it how we see fit. But we're going to pocket a whole lot of it for ourselves first. That's why you had that corrupt mayor in Baltimore that just had to resign because she was embezzling money.
Okay.
She's overseeing one of the blackest cities in the country. Mm-hmm. But I don't hear a lot of outrage and people uprising over an actual real sellout. Jesse Jackson, Al
You're
Sharpton,
right.
These race pimps, they'll come after me before they go after them. And they'll come after me before they go after the black Hebrew Israelites, because I don't toe the line. I reject the oppression doctrine, the whole doctrine of victimhood and oppression. Mm-hmm. Don't you know I think of it as an industrial complex. They need it to exist.
They do.
Racism exists. That's why they drum up all these fake hate crime hoaxes. You're talking about Jussie Smollett, talking about Jasmine Barnes thing. That's a hate crime hoax right there. That little girl was killed. but they only cared about it when it was a white person. And why aren't more people mad about that? I'm personally mad about that.
I agree, 200%.
I feel like that didn't do that little girl any justice for it to be used as a prop. People standing on her grave before she's even buried in the ground. That happens all the time with these black shootings, whether it's just or unjust, whether the black dude is coming at the cops with a gun and you still have black people defending him. That's whatever. Whether it's just or unjust, whether it's a Philando Castile situation or whether it's the guy in Memphis situation, you have people who only care when it's expedient, when it's convenient.
I would not disagree.
I like to call that, but I feel like because nobody really calls that out, I tend to hammer that home more. Do they really need another voice saying white man, white supremacy, racism? Like, do I need to join that just to get participation points so more people will like me? Be like, oh yeah, he agrees. He sees himself as a victim. And I'm not talking about all blacks, so don't get triggered in the comments. I know they get triggered. But what I'm saying is there are not enough people speaking out against the people who have power. I'm talking Snoop Dogg, T.I.'s. How are they not the real sellouts? Oh, because they coach some high school football or they build some school or something like that. But what about with the national conversation? If we want to talk about redistribution of wealth, which is why I said we'd have to be a communist dictatorship, why aren't we going after black billionaires? Like, hey, you need to pony up. You owe your people. Who's a bigger sellout, me or Oprah? Oprah, give more of your money. Redistribute all your wealth. Danny Glover, you're going to go to Congress and talk about reparations. Why don't you get it started now? Why do you need a politician to pass reparations? If white people, all the white people with guilt, if they care so much about reparations, set up a GoFundMe right now. You can pass out DNA kits to all the white people, have them take those kits, and then whoever owes reparations, whoever comes from slave owner lineage, can donate to the pot, and we can find out which black people came from descendants of slaves and figure out who owes what to who and pay it out that way. Why do we need the federal government to pass reparations? Why does it need to be a law on the books so we can pat ourselves on the back? That's what I'm saying. If people really care about getting shit done, they'll get it done. Pass it along instead of virtue signaling on Twitter. Like, look at me, I'm interesting, I'm progressive and woke. Look at me, I'm typing this in on Twitter, I'm retweeting Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about these white liberals that have these Black Lives Matter signs in their front yards. I saw so much of that in Minneapolis. What I'm saying is everybody's looking to the federal government. Like, well, let's just wait till Kamala Harris gets elected. Let's get Donald Trump out of there. And then we'll have the progressives and liberals in there. And then we're going to forget about the fact that illegal immigration is coming in. They're going to replace us. Let's just put that aside. We'll compartmentalize. Now we can get something done at the federal government level for reparations to get passed. I'm like, you don't need the government. That's the whole point of why people are conservative. But we get attacked for it because it goes against the narrative. That's what, and it's not just the pro-blacks or whoever in the black community that don't like people like me. It's the big tech companies, it's the establishment, it's the elites, because the message that we share is dangerous. It's in the minority for a reason. So many other people are just on autopilot. They're like, they come into the world and they just let it impose its will on them.
Do you?
I push back on it.
I have a question. I understand. I'm gonna tell you why black, maybe you, if you probably don't want to know why black people have a problem with black conservatives, these things that you call out, are you calling this out on your channel, or
am I what?
Like the issues with the black community, when you call these things out and kind of stick it to the black community, are you calling these things out on your channel?
Well, I mean, I don't just make a video about it like random.
No,
like,
I know. You have a very diverse. You don't really talk about the black community on your channel that much.
Well, with my reparations video, I talked more about how Democrats were using it as a carrot. They were dangling it in front of our faces, and I was more attacking Democrats than I was talking about reparations. I did say, like, well, how would that even work out? It seems real convoluted. How's it going to come to fruition? So I asked those important questions, but I was focused more on how Democrats have used, and somebody's going to say, what about Republicans? They're not the problem right now. Everyone wants to point to, well, look at the Republicans. What have they done? What are they going to do? They're not the ones talking about this. They're not the ones talking about reparations, knowing damn well it's not going to happen. I'm talking about these poverty pimps, the ones with power, political power, that are talking about Sheila Jackson Lee. She knows damn well there's not going to be any reparations passed. They have no intentions of passing it. It's just a talking point to reel in the black vote. That's all it is.
Right.
And I'm smart enough to see through it, but I don't know if other people are smart enough to see through it, or if they don't want to see through it, or they're holding on to some mustard seed of hope that reparations will get paid out in their lifetime. Politicians are going to become good people and not become corrupt. They're going to change. They're going to have a change of heart, and they're going to right the wrongs of the past. And we need to keep fighting for it. I'm like, why don't you get together with all the guilty white liberals who say they love blacks so much, and let's see if they're willing to give up some of their assets for you. You could get a Venmo transfer right now. Why do you need the federal government to pass it? Why don't you just figure it out? Come together. Somebody set up a GoFundMe right now if we're really serious about it. But it's because
wait a minute, if we're really serious about reparations, we should set up a GoFundMe right now.
Not we as in black people. I'm talking about everybody who is for reparations, because it's not just black people that are for reparations. There are white people for it. Obviously, they're at least they claim to be.
Okay.
They claim to be.
Well, let me ask you this then. There was a GoFundMe that there was a GoFundMe called Build the Wall. I don't know if you've seen it. There was
I remember that.
Yeah. How much does it cost to build that wall? Do you know?
I have no idea. Billions? Couple billion? I really don't know.
So
I think they raised
somebody did what you did, saying build the wall, and they need $1 billion goal. You know how much money they raised?
They raised in the millions.
25
I don't remember
million.
the exact number. 25 million.
25 million.
Yep. Why can't we do that why can't, let's say, I don't know, who would you say has the most influence right now? Who has the most influence in the black community right now?
Mike, even if you raised $1 billion on a GoFundMe, how much money do you think?
It's a start, O'Shea. It's a start.
But you're selling yourself short though. That's the thing.
So then what's
let's start a GoFundMe. Like listen to how ridiculous that sounds.
So what's the alternative? To pay reparations?
Yes.
Government?
Well, no, it's not. Okay, this idea, or what is the alternative? The alternative is to take it to court or whatever legality you have to do. You're telling people, oh, let's sell yourself out and go get a GoFundMe and short yourself. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Like
that I didn't. Nope.
It doesn't. Let me finish. Like, okay, for all the people who agree on reparations, let's raise a GoFundMe and let's get it. Mike, that's very ridiculous. Okay, because number one, if we'll just use the $1 billion goal for Trump supporters who were really talking about building this wall, right? Trump supporters who are a loyal fan base only raised $25 million of a $1 billion goal in 6 months. Now, $25 million is a lot of money, but that is little money compared to what they need to get. That means they got 4%. Number one, if you have a GoFundMe, what are black people owed for reparations? Is it not trillions of dollars? Is it not? Do you understand what I'm saying? You're saying as an alternative, let's not hold the government accountable and let's raise the money. No, this is not a project. Like GoFundMes are used for projects like, oh, I'm sick or I have something I'm trying to build. I need help to build a church. That's what you use GoFundMes for. You don't use GoFundMes for something like, oh, hate. This is what happened to me in a hate crime. This is something that's owed to me in a hate crime. No, like other groups have not had to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, would you, the Jews, would they say, I mean, even if GoFundMe was available at that time, would they say, oh, for all people who owe reparations, how about we just go, no, this is not feasible. You understand? And it makes our plight less than anybody else who's got a free handout from the government, which Europeans have gotten it, which Japanese have gotten it. So why would we do that when we have more invested in the country than anybody else? They didn't have to do that.
Hey man, you don't have to bite my head off. I'm just offering.
No. I'm just speaking facts.
I'm just offering an alternative.
It's not.
Because
It's a bad offer, Mike. Okay. It's like, okay, I'll give you $500 for your Benz. Like, take it or
let
leave
me
it.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. How has holding the government accountable worked out for you so far? Do you feel closer to reparations now than you did a year ago? Oh, because they're trying to form a commission to study it. That's what I'm saying. This is a pipe dream. Get
Mike, can I respond
serious.
to that?
No. Get serious. Get serious. The federal government
okay.
is not about to pay out reparations. That is a fact.
So listen, Mike,
they're not about to do it. They're about to give illegal aliens health care.
Okay.
And you keep ignoring that. Illegal aliens are about to get free health care.
Oh.
And you think that the federal government is going to talk about, they're going to give out reparations. Not a single presidential candidate mentioned it during the debates. But somehow people believe that the government is about to pay out some reparations.
Okay.
That is the biggest joke. It's not going to happen. That's just being realistic. That's not my opinion. That's just the facts. They're not about to pay out no reparations.
So Mike, let me just talk about let's just pick a year, right? 1799 in Mississippi.
I knew we were going to go back.
I'm just saying, but we have to, but past.
What can we do now?
Future. No, we're talking about now, right? But we have to use thinking in the time. Slaves in Natchitoches, Louisiana, where my grandmother and grandfather were at. Well, I sure wish I could be free. Nigga, you ain't gonna never get free. You'll never be free. Forget about it. We've been here for 200 years. You'll never be free. Oh, okay. Well, let's just sit here and never be free. We'll just be slaves forever. Guess what? Me and you're not having this conversation right now. We're probably somewhere on a goddamn cotton field, or you're using a cotton field picking cotton right now, right? Okay, then 1865 came, and then blacks were free. Now,
you're talking about.
You know what? Listen to this though. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? You know what? We need specific civil rights and voting rights and stuff like that, right? Now, 1960 in Alabama, when blacks couldn't vote, even though, well, you know what? Let's go ahead on and let's just not. They'll never let you niggas vote. Okay, all right. Well, we won't vote. So then, 100 years afterwards came civil rights, right? What I'm saying is this, Mike. People that made changes for African Americans in this country, if they would have had your mindset, we would still be in the goddamn fields right now. Okay. What I'm telling you is, if you have the mindset that you're never going to get it, then you won't. Now, you just said you're a productive person. You're a person that believes that under your own recognizance, you can do things, even if others tell you that you can't. And thank God that there are African Americans out there who had a little bit more positive attitude than you do towards this, because that's why me and you are having this conversation. Right now, I'm in Europe using federal loans because my ancestors felt that as an African American, that laws need to be changed for somebody like me to be able to do what I'm doing right now, which both of us make money on YouTube talking shit on the internet, which we couldn't do 30 years ago, bro. And we can do all kinds of stuff with our platforms. Why? Because people for us, bro. No, what I'm saying is this. We have been in a consistent fight for certain things that we are owed. And the things about it is, it might not happen in our lifetime. But what I'm saying is, history has shown that people keep trying, bro. And if we have the attitude that you would have, we would still be slaves. We'll be getting sold by fucking Master Williams and shit. We'll be getting lynched for looking at a goddamn roach across the goddamn field. Oh, you're looking at my wife, nigga? We will be on the goddamn stake. That's the only point that I make.
And the only point I was trying to make is similar to that. I'm glad you brought up the border wall funding. Okay. Yeah, they didn't raise the money that they wanted to, but they raised some and they used it while fighting that battle with politicians who don't give a damn about black people. They don't.
I agree.
While fighting that battle, what else can be done? Why put all the eggs in one basket? I feel like you kind of missed my entire point. Mm-hmm. All I'm just saying is, you don't need the government to get something started. You telling me right now?
No, that I would.
You telling me right now, if Snoop Dogg said, "Hey, we're gonna set up this Go Reparations, cuz we're gonna do this." If Snoop said we're gonna set up reparations, GoFundMe, and I'm gonna have all my celebrity friends in Hollywood put money in there. We're gonna raise the money. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me if somebody said, okay, we got this money, we figured out who is owed it, who gets it, who's gonna pay it, whatever. You mean to tell me you're not gonna take it because it didn't come in the form of federal government. I'm just saying, not as a total alternative. I'm saying that's one way to get the process going. That's one way to start. Does that not have an immediate impact? Does it not help? Does it hurt? Does the money somehow spend different because it came through technology? That's my whole point. That's the only thing I'm saying, because I'm looking at the way that the government talks. I'm looking at the way that these politicians talk. They're not talking about black people. They're talking. The only reason we're having a conversation about reparations is because upstream from you and me, somebody said, let's get this conversation going about reparations. You know, we can get that black vote. That's all I'm saying. I'm calling out that reality.
No, that's true.
The truth right now.
I'll buy that.
It's a talking point to garner the black vote, just like it'll be a talking point in 2024 and 2032 and onward and onward. They're going to continue talking about reparations when it's time to pull the lever for that party. That's how it works. That is how Maxine Waters campaigned this last midterm election. She goes out there and give all these speeches and talks, and she's like, yeah, we're gonna do this and do that. Her district is one of the worst in the country. So why are we think that that's going to happen? I'm not saying, oh, give up this fight, it's over. But I'm also saying it's probably not going to happen. At least maybe not in your lifetime. Doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. I would love to see a lot of things change in the future.
What you're saying is,
but I'm saying right
we should live our lives and try to do our best, be in the optimum condition for black people in America, outside of looking for the handout, because it may or may never come. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm saying, yeah.
I agree.
I'm saying, what I'm saying is, what can you do right now as an individual or as a group or whatever, a family unit? What can you do? What control do you have that can directly impact your life right now? Do you have any power at all? Or does 100% of it come from the federal government reorganizing, redistributing wealth? Because if that is the case, then it's going to be a pretty bad experience in life for you. If that is your answer.
I agree.
If you don't have any answer, like, okay, you know, I'm praying for reparations. I'm hoping things work out. You know, that would be great if it worked out. It honestly would. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go get this money. I got to put food on the table. I got kids. I got goals. I got aspirations. That's what I'm saying. Focus on what you can control and maybe find a way to circumvent the federal government, because it's a bunch of do nothing people. And that's related to not just reparations. That's everything. Healthcare, immigration, whatever you want to call it, gun control, whatever it is, whatever political talking point it is, the federal government has failed the people.
I agree with all of that. You will not get any argument from me on any of those things. I agree 100%. I don't have an argument against that. I don't have an argument against that. That's what I think black people should be doing. I don't live my life for remember, even though ABL calls me a moderate liberal, which is wrong. I agree that African Americans must do the things that they need to do to progress, right? People don't progress waiting around, for the most part, getting help from the government. We understand that. And in fact, you have better chances of doing things on your own. Now, the GoFundMe thing, that I'm disagreeing on that for reparations GoFundMe. I am for a GoFundMe if it's like starting black schools, starting black programs, things like that. I think outside things like that strengthen your case from reparations because you have unity. I'm for putting together, reparations. GoFundMe's for, buying voting blocks for the, for local government, donations and stuff like that are a presidential campaign support. I
totally agree with that too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Just not for reparation, but
I was thinking more with the GoFundMe rep. That would be an interesting experiment to say, look how incompetent our government is, like what they did with the border wall thing. Honestly,
yeah, I donated to that.
I like the idea of building schools. I like it. Here's the overarching theme. I like the idea of the people doing something without politicians, independent of politicians. You want to build a school, you want to build a friggin' rec center, you want to build some kind of group or organization, nonprofit, without it being a government bureaucracy where there's no accountability and oversight. I'm all for that. I prefer that. I prefer to shrink the government because these government programs are what actually has failed the community and fail all communities, but fail the Black community. Wherever there's big government, you have its ruins beneath, period. Unless you have some communist China style model, which I don't think anybody wants that. I hope not. I sure as hell don't.
Yeah. Well, I don't think but it works, but I don't think people would be used to that type of thing. But let me do this, Mike. I mean, you got like 5 minutes left, or I won't take all your day or anything like that. But
we can wrap up.
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes left, guys. So we got 430 people watching. Yeah, Mike. You came over to the ghetto. You put up a better fight than Anthony Brian Logan. I will say that Anthony Brian Logan is light work. It's very easy to deal with him.
Is he still in the chat?
Yeah, ABL, man, he's a joke. This is a very, very simple process with that guy. Like it's not even close. You're ABL, much better debater than he is. For sure.
Man,
he should take some notes from you.
Man, I might have to call into a show tonight and give him some pointers. Like, hey man,
ABL is he's good on his videos, but live, when he comes with these ad hominem deflections and things like that, he's not so much of a bright guy, when it comes to stuff like this. So but he's a nice guy. Everybody needs a little help sometimes. It's not all of us have neurons that fire. Let's let me go ahead and shout out some of the people. Shout out to Brother Moses. Focus on your own bag of cotton. Eyes down. No singing. Freedom ain't gonna happen. Mike Nificent. Ancestors. 1864. What a troll super chat. Carl's opinion. Yeah, Dems are replacing African American votes with Latino vote. Just look up African American congressman from Compton. Shout out to Carl. I'm sure you know who Carl is. Carl's opinion. RBR Network for. You don't know who he is?
Wait. RBR Network, is that dude? Yeah, I think I know who that is. I think.
Yeah, RBR Network is a old buffoon crazy guy.
Oh yeah, I seen him. He was trolling my videos for a while, man. That dude was obsessed.
Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, he's a crack addicted YouTuber. He actually just commented, "Let me add him. He's 100% sellout RBR Network." Yeah, he's crazy. So don't he uses drugs. He uses AdSense to buy cocaine. So it's not his fault. Leg Dot, just over the Black community according to a white liberal who runs it and letting the Hispanic becoming the largest minority in that community. Carl's opinion. Hey, Mr. Jack and Mike Nificent mods and chats. Dollar wash. As soon as you get the reparations check, potato chips equals $100. Inflation times 1,000. Just say.
Right.
Gary Grant. The major difference between blacks and whites. Black cups are always half empty and white cups are half full. That is why blacks are on the bottom. Uncle Gary, what's up, man? Javon Smiley. That's why we need to hold politicians accountable for black politics. No dreamers, no healthcare, nothing else until we get what we're owed. Love Seat Shawty. Is government reparations for black women? If so, do you think only men should get reparations if it was seriously offered? Love Seat Shawty. We got to have a Patreon show on that, brother. You trying to get me kicked off of YouTube with that one. All right, Mike, let me do this.
Let me respond to that dude real quick.
Yeah.
To talk about all my ancestors in 1984, man. Come on my channel. It's easy to type up some and leave a super chat, but come on my channel, level up. Let's have an intellectual conversation. Let's talk. No ad hominem attacks. I'm always open to the idea that I could be wrong, change my mind, but I can't get anything out of that insult. I can't. I mean, I guess it was kind of funny, maybe. I don't know, but that's kind of how I feel in general.
Carl said, thanks for the super chat. If he doesn't want a reparations check, I'll take it. I'll take it too. ABL. You have got that work repeatedly on my channels, ABL. You have been boxed up many times, bro. Like, stop. Your mind doesn't, in these debate things, no, your mind is you're not as analytical. You don't think as fast as I do. You just don't. Okay. I think that's very evident. in our multiple debates that we've had. You're just not as bright as me. Okay, you're a bright guy, but not on my level. Okay, well, I'm at least 15 to 20 IQ points above you. All right, even on my worst day. Okay, all right, Mike. Let's go ahead and say, yeah, come on, man. Like, ABL's, he's like light work, man. He's like a little brother to me or something like that.
I think you need to have Jericho Green on here.
Jericho Green. How can I say this in a nice way? Jericho Green is a very entertaining guy. I will say that. That's all I can say about Jericho Green. One of his videos I commented on, I was like, wow. Only thing I know about him is he's from the state of, he is probably, I see why he gets so many views. He's way out there, but he's entertaining. I will say that. Have you met him before?
No, I haven't met him in person. No.
Yeah. He drives around, talks a lot of shit, and gets a lot of views. So he definitely has a talent for the YouTube shit, for real. He be talking a lot of shit too. So shout out to him. Guys, go ahead and subscribe to Mike Nificent, man, my brother. Go subscribe to him. Like I said, he's a much better opponent than ABL, but then who isn't? Anything else you want to say?
T. Kelly said, "I ain't ready for the smoke." I'm reading that chat. Like I'm not afraid. Nobody's scared.
The amazing Lucas. I forgot about him. The amazing Lucas. He's another interesting guy. He's pretty funny too. I'll say that. He's I definitely, me and the amazing Lucas and Jericho and ABL, you guys, we differ when it comes to Black community issues. I will say that. The politics with ABL, for example, almost 100% of the time, that if he has videos not about the Black community, we're going to agree almost 100% of the time. But the Black community, we're probably going to agree about 25% of the time.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. You need diversity of opinion on how to fix the community. I mean, you obviously have points, but he has points too. I don't think there's some one size fits all solution. I think that by y'all having that dialogue, I think that lifts, I don't know, it does something.
Well, we are talking about ABL's.
You
really
need to
a bright guy, so
you need to reach out to some other people. I should give you a list of. I don't know if you heard of Kevin's Corner. You need to talk to him.
I've seen Kevin. I had Leo Dunstan on the other night.
I saw Leo Dunstan on there.
Yeah, Leo Dunstan is more like me.
Yeah, because he's now towing that reparations line now.
He's more like me, but he's more like, okay, if I take it, I will leave. See, Leo Dunstan he's more niggified like me. So we come from very similar backgrounds. He's from Oakland, I'm from Sacramento. So we come from, more of the hood type of mentality. Like we grew up in, the real urban areas. So that's kind of why I think we kind of see things.
Urban. You really use that euphemism, urban?
Urban niggified.
White liberals say.
Church's chicken. We live where the gunshots, you don't even drop down. They just keep on walking. Can you connect us back in the back chat? Yes, brother Moses. You want to? Okay. My brother Moses graduate top of his class at Morehouse College. Now he will really give you some problems.
What do you mean?
He will. Yeah, it will be a very tough day for you.
Problems though.
Debating. It'll be problems. Yeah,
I don't have. See, when people say that, that makes it sound like we should be scared. He's as long as you don't come with insults. I mean, if you come with insults,
he's an academic. Why would you do that?
I mean, you'd be surprised if people.
Well, the only who throws insults that's the conservative is actually ABL. He does that.
I've heard some very emotional people on your channel. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
Anthony Brian Logan. He's one of the main ones.
Nah, man, come on, no.
You don't watch it, dude.
How
many of you guys have seen ABL throw ad hominems and insults and shit on the Sunday Rumble? Dude, Anthony Brian Logan is one of the dirtiest players in the history of the Sunday Rumble.
I'm saying,
are you serious? ABL's like Bill Laimbeer, bro.
I haven't seen ABL on here in a minute, but I'm talking about this last week.
One of the dirtiest players in Black YouTube debate history. Are you serious? He is dirty. What? ABL is dirty, bro. He doesn't
this last 3 hour thing you had on
Oh
reparations.
yeah, well that was nigga fight. He doesn't do it like that. But ABL is dirty. He throws certain man like he just doesn't curse when he does it. But listen, he can sling in the mud, man, with the best of them. ABL is like Rick Mahorn or somebody. ABL is a dirty debater. He's a dirty piece of. He's dirty. He's like, elbow you like, oh, I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
I'm not seeing him in the chat either. I'm looking too.
Yes, he is dirty, man. Like, yes, ABL is a dirty. He's not like the other guys you see because they curse and stuff like that and yell. But trust me, ABL is a dirty player.
Oh, there he is. He says, I'm
not dirty, just skilled. That's the fuckery. He's full of fuckery. He's dirty. Oh, I connect you with power and strategy. He'll give you some debate. I got some academic guys over here, man, that slang the mud. I got some bright people over here.
Yeah, one of these days I'll have to come in on one of your Sunday Rumble shows, man. I'm gonna have to do it.
What about Brandon Tatum? I think he's great. I love Brandon Tatum. I don't like the shit that Brandon Tatum says about the black. I don't like his black community politics. But I'm actually a Brandon Tatum fan. To be honest, I actually like Brandon Tatum a whole lot. But I'll be calling Brandon Tatum out sometime too. Like, Tatum, what are you talking about? But I love Brandon Tatum. I do. I'm a big Brandon Tatum fan. Except when it talks about the black community. Like Brandon Tatum, black community politics, no. But he did make a very good video about why African Americans need to have that name. I totally 1000% agree. That's the thing about me. Like, if I hear what you're saying and I agree with it, I will support it. I won't be like, no, fuck him. No. But shout out to Yes Message. All right, bro. Anything else that anything else, bro?
No, man. Appreciate you having me back on the channel, man. I looked at my sub count, it went up. I love coming over here to pluck some of your subscribers, pick some brains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you guys keep subscribing.
Just get my message out. People disagree. That's fine. That's cool. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm allowed to think what I want to think. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't.
Wow. Did you see ABL? You trolling me? O'Shea is a moderate liberal. Would you consider me to be a liberal? Go ahead. It's fine.
I actually don't know your political stances on stuff because we only talk black issues. I would say, as it relates to the black community, you're definitely more on the liberal side.
I am more liberal when it comes to black community issues. Yes, I'm more liberal. But
you're left of center. You
won't ever see me making videos about President Trump. You will never see me talking about, for the most part, I'm not a white supremacy kind of guy. That's not really my thing. I'll talk about it. I will never make videos about white folks and what white people are. I don't really do that kind of stuff. Left of center, ABL, I'm going to time you out, Negro. How about that?
Do you love white people?
What do you mean, do I love them? I don't.
Do you love white people?
Like white girls or just white people? I don't have problems with white people. They're okay.
Do you know what I'm doing?
Wait, hold on. What are you doing?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Do you love?
Do you love white people?
Yeah, I don't. White people are, I mean, they're okay. I would choose not to. I'd rather be around my own people than to be around white people. I mean, if that's what you would say, but yeah. But ABL, man, I'm gonna start timing you out, nigga. Nobody got time for you, mother. All right, I'm about to cuss his ass out. All right, man. Let me get up out of here before I end up cussing ABL's ass out again, because I ain't got time to be dealing with this nigga today. All right, so Mike, man, let me just do this real quick. Mike, what should we? Last question, man. What should we be expecting from Mike Nificent, man, before the end of the year, man? Oh, I'm gonna shout out these super chats too before I go. Thank you, brothers, for the support. See, Black YouTube be supporting, bro.
You want to do that? Do those first, or what?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me. I want to ask you one question. What do you have? What are you? What should we be expecting from you from the rest of the year? Like, I mean, what are your plans with your YouTube channel? I know you're still doing other stuff, but what do you see yourself in like the next few years with this?
Well, I would like to wean myself off of YouTube as my only source for getting money for my content, because they've been cracking down. So I'm gonna actually start doing man on the street videos.
Wow,
those are fun. Those are so fun. So I actually just bought one of those microphones today, those microphone receiver combos, so I could just record it with my phone and just go out and record stuff. So I'm gonna start doing that here, and I'm just starting engaging in the communities down here, walking around, doing stuff. I might do some traveling too, maybe go up to Georgia, wherever's around here. Try to get up to DC, maybe get up to New York. I'm gonna be doing a lot more active engagement in the communities. So I'm gonna be out there doing that stuff, and then a lot of guest appearances, a lot of podcasting. Hopefully, launch a website, get some merch, get some stuff going. Just branch out from YouTube because I've become too dependent on YouTube. I don't know if you've been that way too, but
yeah,
that was the bread and butter. And now it's like, man, you don't even know if your videos are gonna get monetized half the time.
Yeah, man. So it's a little different. Let me do this. Tune in, drop out. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. The powerful in any country have always taken advantage of the powerless, be it African chiefs or European kings. Since the Enlightenment, Europe has been dominant on the world stage. That was not always the case, or nor likely to continue. Monte Cristo, Black Americans shouldn't have to pay taxes for foreign years. Man, listen, I would love for that. All right, brother Mike, thanks for coming on. Shout out to everybody, even my little bro ABL. He still got a long ways to go in this debate game. You know, not everybody can be bright like me. But I'm gonna connect you with Brother Moses. I would like to see. You should have him as a guest in your show. It'd be really good. Power and strategy. Well, who always? I mean, he just sends ABL up the roof. It's just always bad when they like. I've never seen ABL run from anybody like he does Tony Maceo. He's ABL be all up on the roof.
Well, he can email me. Anybody can email me.
No, they're good. They're good. It'd be good. It'd be good ratings for your channel too, because it'd be interesting, right? I mean, there's some formidable guys. So I'll connect you right now through the email. Both of them are, very, very, they won't use any ad hominems. Like I said, they always have ABL running up the wall, which is not hard, but let's just be honest. But yeah, man, like I got some. I mean, not all of my people are hella ghetto or anything like that. Like, this is, I got geniuses over here.
Oh, I'm already knowing.
Yeah. So, all right, man. So, Mike, man, thanks for coming by. Sorry about the delay and everything, brother. But we definitely will have you come back on, and I know there are gonna be a lot of videos in Black YouTube about this conversation.
Good. Let it happen. I love it. I love the intent. I feed off of it. If I got people talking, that means I did something right.
All right.
We all win. Go ahead. Make a video about me. Get it monetized. I hope it goes viral. Good. Put some money in your pocket.
All right. Peace out, man. Guys, we'll see we'll have another hangout coming out pretty soon. See you guys. Peace out, bro.
Later.